Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I'm up today on our channel doing a bit of a different video. Well, it's not a different video, but I am doing my 2019 cover page for my album. So I am going with a similar theme to what I did last year, and that is black and white photos of myself and my partner, because at the start of 2019, that was the extent of our family. Now, as you know, I had a baby in January, so majority of 2019, there will be 3 of us in our family, but certainly for the start of it, there was only 2. So I've also decided for this year that I'm actually going to take the same approach as my sister, and that is she backs all of her photos onto Project Life cards. Now, I have so many Project Life cards that I figured this was a good way to try and work through some of my stash. So that is what I'm doing. It does mean my Project Life cards are all the old ones, so they're all the rounded corners. So I will be rounding the corners of my photos, which I haven't done for a while, but I really love the way these turned out. So I do pull out 12 black and white photos. Some of them are my partner and I together, some are us individually. There's a couple with only one of our dogs, unfortunately. So we do have 2 dogs, but there's only one of our dogs appears in this front page, but that's okay. And I tried to get photos that obviously I like, but also that I guess are a bit representative of our lives and what we do. And so some of them are a bit fun, some of them are a bit, playful. And then obviously there's one of an ultrasound pic of our little boy, and there's one of me pregnant, because that was obviously a big part of 2018, and that will heavily influence our 2019. So I've also gone with a pink theme. So I printed black and white photos and I went with a pink theme. So I pulled out a whole heap of pink Project Life cards, which I have sort of, as you can see, laid out there. And now I am sticking down my photos. I don't make you watch all of this, but I left this part in because I also show you how I round the corners of my cards in a minute, because there's 2 photos that haven't got rounded corners because I cut them down slightly earlier in the video, and I do need to round the corners. So I don't have a corner rounder punch. I do actually think if I'm going to do this for the whole year, I'm probably going to need to get one, because I use my envelope punch board, as you can see here, that I've pulled out. And it works fine, it works great. In fact, it's just a bit cumbersome, and it doesn't have the best punch when you're doing a lot. I get lazy, so it doesn't always cut nice and even, but that is what I use to round my corners. So I've now stuck almost stuck all of my photos down, and apologise for the shift in lighting. I filmed this over the series of a day, or over the span of a day, when my son was napping, and he only does 30-minute cat naps, so it took me a while to get this filmed, but we got there in the end. So I'm thinking about adding a couple of filler cards in, because I found these ones in my stash and they're just super cute. So one of them says 365 days a year, and the other one says F and then family, where life begins and love never ends. So I kind of thought that I would, those sentiments worked, but then maybe I wanted 3. I don't think I've decided that yet, but I have cut down those 2 filler cards because I am going to back them on the pink, to say stick with the same theme. And then I'm thinking that maybe I need 3. So I'm going through my cards here and going, okay, I might stick with the same theme. So I find one that has a gold camera on it that says good memories are created. So the 365 and the F, gold glitter embossed, and the camera isn't, it's gold foil, but that's okay. The sentiment, is still there. They still look similar. So I cut that one down and round the corners for that as well. And then I'm going to mount those on to Project Life cards, pink ones, to stick with the theme. And I'm just sort of going through and finding out which colours sort of are going to go best with the colour scheme that I have. I mean, it's pink, but there are a couple of pinks there that didn't quite, I guess, match the feel of the rest of them. Oh, sorry, getting distracted. So I'm looking now, sticking them down and then figuring out both the colours that I'm going with, and then obviously I need to remove 3 pictures from the layout because I had 12 photos there and I need to replace some of those with these cards. So sticking it down, again, probably could have edited this part out too. For a layout that was super simple, it took me a surprisingly long time. And it's like I didn't journal on anything. I didn't even, it just took me a long time because I was trying to work out this part here in particular where I do the 2019. I was trying to work out the best way to make that work. So I cut out 2019. I have some large letter dies from Stampin' Up that I used. Sorry, large number dies. They're not letters, they're numbers from Stampin' Up. So I'd cut those out using Project Life cards as well. You probably saw when I was, oh no, you wouldn't have seen because I edited it out. I cut them out of the middle of a couple of the cards that I've got here. And I was just trying to work out which photos they fit best on because I didn't really want the numbers to cover up our faces. I'm also trying to work out which of the photos that I wanted removed. The one that's in my hand now, that selfie of me, I really like that photo, but I didn't want to remove the one of me pregnant, and I didn't want to remove the one of me playing French horn because they're both obviously, important things. Me being pregnant was an important part of 2019, and I wanted to 2018, and I wanted to record that, knowing that 2019 is going to be all about our baby. And also, I play an instrument, and that's a big part of who I am in my life. So I wanted to make sure I included that too. So the nice selfie, even though it was a lovely photo, ended up getting the boot, as well as a photo of Danny. I think was it? Oh no, the other two were of both of us. So they've gone as well. So I'm just figuring out the layout, and I do faff around a bit trying to figure out which photo I wanted the two on, and I figured out it worked best with the one that I've got there. It kind of goes into a tiny bit of Danny's face, but not enough that it detracts from the photo. And then I knew I wanted to use the 365 days a year card to put a number on there because it had so much blank space at the bottom. And now I'm going through my wood veneer, just seeing what other little bits I might want to add. Again, I don't add much, but I wanted to add a couple of little extra embellishments just to bring something else to the layout, but I wanted to keep it super simple. So it pretty much is going to look like this, and just with a few little extra wood veneer added. So I'm adding the little people, and I thought about adding them to that top card of Danny 9. Then I was like, no, I need to add them to the same card as the ultrasound pic to show that we are now going to become a family of 3, having a little boy. And so I'm put those there. And then I'm adding a little love heart to number 2. I take the camera off that photo because I decided that I didn't want it there. And then I think I've put a little ampersand down now, and I'm putting it on the pregnant photo of me pregnant. And I think that's it. And then I'm going to go through my tiny word stickers and add some tiny words to a couple of these photos. Now I also need to apologize in advance. My camera cuts out a few times. I'm having trouble with it at the moment, my phone, and it keeps cutting out, telling me that I don't have any storage left, but I do, and it's a nightmare. So the tiny word I added to that top photo was always take the scenic route. I'm going through, I've got one set of the Tim Holtz tiny word stickers that don't have a lot left on them, and so I'm trying to use them up, but there weren't that many sentiments that were kind of relevant. So on the pool photo, I had the tiny word sticker that said collect beautiful moments, and now I'm just swapping a few photos around, and then that French horn photo says love yourself first. And then I think, I've moved to the other packet because I needed some fresh sentiments. And then that one I've just put down there says, I'm happiest when I'm with you. And then I'm pretty sure my phone cuts out. And so, yeah, it did. So I've just had to restart. And I add another tiny word sticker that says, adventure awaits you, on the pregnancy photo, because I thought that was quite appropriate. So that is all the tiny words that I'm using, and then I'm going to stick down the wood veneer. So I'm sticking down the ampersand, the little people, and the love heart, and that's all that I used for the wood veneer. And then to finish off the layout, I'm just going to add a few little enamel hearts, and they are actually from Doodlebug Designs. They're called the Shape Sprinkles in Baby Hearts, and it's the first time I've used them, and they are super cute. So they're just enamel shapes, but they're divine. We're not up to there yet. I've got a bit ahead of myself. It took me longer than I thought it would, on the video to have stuck everything down. So I also obviously have to stick down the 2019 as well. Probably could have edited this out, but I don't know. It's good to see the whole process from start to finish. The only bits that I edited out was sticking down all the black and white photos onto the project life cards, because that part was kind of self-explanatory. So I'm sticking down the little people, just trying to line them up so they're somewhat straight. And yeah, there goes the 9, and I think that's it. Yep, so I'm just closing my wood veneer. I had a massive accident, dropped them all over the floor yesterday. Disaster. So I spent this morning putting them all back together. And you can see here that I'm just adding the tiny little sprinkles, what they're called, a couple to the pool photo, and then I add a couple to the photo up the top there, the top right of Danny and I. We were actually in New Zealand when that photo was taken. And then I'm also adding one to Danny, who's holding one of our chooks. And here we go. That's the end. My phone did cut out, so I just put them in pockets for you and gave you some close-ups. So I hope you like my cover page. I love it. Really happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys are too, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, guys. Bye.